It all started on a train in northern Italy. I was sitting by the window watching the hills roll by when an old woman sat across from me. She smiled, I smiled back. We tried to speak, but we couldn't understand each other. She pointed to the grapes in my bag, and I handed them to her. That was it. A kind gesture, a silent conversation. It made me realize something: language is more than words, but words make everything easier. That night, I sat in a tiny hostel room and wrote in my notebook, I want to be able to speak to anyone in the world, and if all I have is English, then I'll make my English better than ever. I didn't want to just speak English, I wanted to connect with it. That's where it all began. If you want to talk to people in English, start with this truth. People don't remember fancy words. They remember how you made them feel. And to make someone feel understood, you need to master the right words. Not complicated, not academic, but real words people use every single day. Tokyo. Crowded, electric, alive. I was lost in Shinjuku Station, one of the busiest places on earth. My map was no help. I turned to a young guy in a hoodie. I said, Hey, sorry, can I ask something real quick? He nodded. I'm kinda lost. I'm trying to find the Yamanote line. Do you know where that is? He smiled. Ah, yes, you're actually really close. Just go down that escalator and turn left. I said, Oh, cool, thank you. By the way, your English is great. That short moment? It felt like a connection. I used simple words, but those words made the difference between silence and a smile. Some words open doors. They create trust. They show curiosity. Here are a few more powerful ones. I get it. Shows empathy. Sounds good. Agreement. What do you think? Invites others. Can you help me out? Shows humility. No worries. Releases tension. I used all of them during a dinner in Mexico City. I was at a shared table with people from Argentina, Brazil, and Peru. Our common language? English. But it wasn't textbook English. It was human English. I said, I get it, trying to learn a new language can be super hard. But this dinner sounds good to me. What do you guys think? Should we order more tacos? Laughter. Agreement. More conversation flowed. Because of those words. Most people think being fluent means speaking fast, using big words, or having a perfect accent. That's not true. Fluent English means you speak with confidence. You use real-life expressions. You understand how to keep a conversation going. You're not afraid to make mistakes. That's it. Fluency isn't a finish line. It's a feeling. It's the moment someone nods at you and says, Yeah, I get you. And when you travel the world or just talk to someone online, you'll feel that magic. Because your words won't be just words. They'll be bridges. I was sitting at a coffee shop in Berlin, scribbling ideas into my travel journal. A guy across the table leaned over. You write a lot. You a writer? I looked up. Kinda. I try to be. He laughed. That one phrase, I try to beat, softened everything. Small talk became real talk. We spoke for 2 hours. Thailand. I was offered something I didn't want: durian. It's a famous fruit, but the smell? Not for me. Instead of just saying no, I smiled and said, "Thanks, but I'll pass. I've tried it before, it's not really my thing." No offense taken. That's the magic of soft refusal. Learn these phrases. Some nights change you. In Argentina, I met Lucia Painter, who spoke fluent English. We sat by the river and talked about life, dreams, fears. She asked, "What do you believe in?" That's not an easy question, but I answered, "I believe in moments like this one, when two people who didn't know each other suddenly understand each other." I was back in the US and applied for a freelance teaching gig. The interviewer said, "Tell me about yourself." I took a breath. "Well, I'm passionate about communication. I've spent the last few years teaching English through storytelling. I was back in the US and applied for a freelance teaching gig." The interviewer said, "Tell me about yourself." I took a breath. "Well, I'm passionate about communication. I've spent the last few years teaching English through storytelling. I believe language is more than rule sets connection. Disagreement isn't bad, but how you do it, that's everything." At a hostel in Seoul, someone said, "Learning English is useless if you don't sound native." I disagreed. I said, "I see where you're coming from, but I think it's more important to be understood than to be perfect." Paris, the city of love. I met Elise in a bookstore. She was reading a novel I loved. I said, "That book? It changed my life." In Brazil, a friend opened up about her stress. I didn't know what to say, but I listened. Then I said, "I'm here for you. That sounds really hard. Thanks for sharing that with me. If I can talk to anyone in the world with nothing but English, so can you." Don't chase perfection. Chase connection. Let your words be the bridge. We don't just speak to be heard. We speak to be understood.